Download and upload more than ever before with an ultra-fast fiber connection. With 3 simple steps, you can be the one with an SLT fiber optic connection. Visit slt.lk.
For sovereignty, Sri Lanka's co-sponsorship of Resolution 30/1 provokes furious backlash.
The report made by Michelle Bachelet, we consider it as an unnecessary intervention to the internal matters of Sri Lanka.
Offering clarification, Constitutional Council responds to President's allegations on lack of political representation. A tragic end. Borallo IC, who sustained severe injuries in the hit-and-run accident by a defender, succumbs to his injuries.
That the first suspect is the person who has driven the vehicle at the time of the accident.
Panic in the skies. Ethiopian Airlines flight crashes, killing 157 on board. All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Sunday, the 10th of March 2019.
From Ada Derana, this is Ada Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Ada Derana 24, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang, now diving on to your top story tonight. Last week, the government announced that it will seek an extension to the timeline of Resolution 30/1 through a co-sponsored rollover resolution through the ongoing 40th regular session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. The government said this initiative will further attest to Sri Lanka's ownership of the implementation process and to its continued policy of constructive engagement and dialogue with the UN and bilateral partners. However, there's continued backlash over Sri Lanka's co-sponsorship of the resolution, with critics saying it allows Sri Lanka to be unnecessarily pressurized by the international community. Now, it is in this backdrop that World Patriotic Lankan Forum organized a protest before the headquarters or opposite the headquarters of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva today. Many Sri Lankans residing in European countries gathered for the protest.
The 40th regular session of the United Nations Human Rights Council is currently underway in Geneva. As per the Resolution 30/1, which was co-sponsored by Sri Lanka, the High Commissioner for Human Rights is required to present a comprehensive report, followed by a discussion on the implementation of the Council resolution on the 20th of this month. The UNHRC also assessed progress made by Sri Lanka in the implementation of Human Rights Council Resolution 30/1 through its annual report of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, released on the 8th of last month, saying that there was lack of progress and called for Sri Lanka to remain firmly on the agenda on the Human Rights Council. Meanwhile, the core group on Sri Lanka, comprising of Canada, Germany, Macedonia, Montenegro and the UK, will also present a resolution on promoting reconciliation, accountability and human rights in the country. It is in this backdrop that the World Patriotic Lankan Forum organized a protest opposite the headquarters of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva today, urging the international community to refrain from pressurizing Sri Lanka unnecessarily.
Thousands of Sri Lankans from different countries in Europe gathered here to express their displeasure over the report made by Michelle Bachelet to the 40th sessions of the Human Rights Council. We consider it as an unnecessary intervention to the internal matters of Sri Lanka. Further, we got to know that the United Kingdom is trying to bring a fresh resolution against Sri Lanka and the tribal forces of Sri Lanka. We emphasize that United Kingdom doesn't have any moral or ethical right to bring such a resolution, and people of Sri Lanka will not tolerate such a pressure.
Meanwhile, Archbishop of Colombo Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit reached out to the citizens of this country, saying that Sri Lanka can face the challenges put forth by the international community through unity. The Archbishop made this remark during a religious ceremony held in Ruanvalla yesterday.
අපේ රට ප්‍රශ්නයකට මැදි වෙලා තියෙනවා. විදේශීය රටක අපේ රට විනිශ්චයට පත් වෙමින් පවතිනවා. අපේ රටේ සමාදානයක් නැහැ, එකමුතුවක් නැහැ. අපේ රටේ මිනිස්සු මානව හිමිකම් වලට ගෞරව කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා විවිධ මත ප්‍රචාරය කරමින් අපේ රටට යම් ආකාරයක අපකීර්තියක් ලබා දෙන්නට සමහර අය උත්සාහ කරනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඔබ සියලු දෙනාගෙන්ම අපි අලුත් රටක් හදමු. අපි ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙමු. මේ රට තුල අපි පෙන්නමු විදේශීය රටවල් වලට අපි අතර ඒ වගේ ભેද නැහැ.
The Constitutional Council issued a summary of the letter which was addressed to President Maithripala Sirisena regarding his allegations against the Council during the parliamentary adjournment debate on the 21st of February. The Council clarified facts about several pressing issues raised by the President.
In a letter addressed to the President, the Constitutional Council had seconded the head of state's view that the majority representation of the Council should consist of civil society representatives. The Council highlighted, however, that representation by all political parties are ensured within it, as composition as well as appointments to the Council are approved by the Parliament. The Council had also responded to President's allegation that it controls the country's executive, legislature and judiciary while surpassing powers of the executive president. The Council highlighted that the main objective of the 19th Amendment of the Constitution was to limit powers vested within the executive presidency, and that it was in this backdrop the Constitutional Council was established. The Council also called it unfair for the President to make a claim saying it controls the judiciary, when in fact the only instance the Council intervenes in judiciary procedures is when nominations for posts of judges are recommended by the President. It also says that only 4 such names have been rejected by the Council with official reasoning, as opposed to the claim by the President that 14 nominations have been rejected with regard to the posts of the judges. The letter goes on to say that it is not justifiable to make such allegations when the President had nominated several names for the same post, leaving the Council to select one judge and reject all others. The Council also emphasized that, as with all other decisions, pressing decisions on the Attorney General and Inspector General of Police are being taken following the agreement of the majority in the Council. The Borala Traffic OIC IP Ananda Sagara Sarachandra, who was critically injured in the hit-and-run accident at Bamalapitia last month, succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of the Colombo National Hospital last night. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, DIG Traffic Police Ajit Arohana said that the funeral of the deceased police officer will take place at the Borala Public Cemetery with police honours. Traffic OIC of Borala Police IP Ananda Sagara Sarachandra passed away last night at the Colombo National Hospital following a hit-and-run accident in Bambalapitiya on the 24th of last month. A day after the accident, 8 persons were arrested by the Bambalapitiya police in connection with the incident, including the son of parliamentarian Mahindananda Alutkamage. The suspects were produced before courts on February 26th, where 7 out of the 8 suspects were released on bail by Colombo Magistrates Court. However, the magistrate ordered the driver of the defender, Udesh Ratnayaka, to be remanded for 14 days, with the final day falling tomorrow. The victim, 51-year-old IP Sarachandra, was a father of 3 children and is a resident at Verahara in Boralas Gamua. The body of the late Traffic OIC is placed at a funeral parlour in Borala this evening. The final rites of the victim will take place at the Borala Public Cemetery tomorrow. Meanwhile, addressing a media briefing at the police headquarters, DIG Traffic Police Ajit Rohana said that they have sufficient evidence to prove that the remanded suspect was the driver of the vehicle involving the hit and run.
Initially, we conducted investigation in respect of the offences of attempted murder, rash and negligence act. We arrested suspects, including a female. The first suspect has been remanded for a period of 14 days. So according to the police investigations, especially the evidence collected by the police, the eyewitnesses, and apart from that, the video footages, it has been revealed that the first suspect is the person who has driven the vehicle at the time of the accident. Especially, we need to emphasize that we need to eliminate this defender culture.
The Gamata Sirikota program launched a fresh island-wide membership drive in Kalutara district today, aiming to recruit new members ahead of anticipated national and presidential elections. Speaking at the inaugural program this morning, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe invited the public to join hands with the United National Party and the United National Front in creating a strong alliance and strengthen democracy in the country. The Gamata Sirikota program launched its island-wide membership drive in Thotavatta Junction at Panadura this morning under the auspices of party leader Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The top brass of the United National Party, together with its party representatives, were present during the occasion.
අපි 2015 මේ රටේ ආණ්ඩු බලය අරගත්තා. අමාරු කාලේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂයෝගේ ඇතුලේ විනාශය නැති කළා. අනාගතයක් ඇති කරන්න අපි ආරම්භ කරා. ඒ එක්කම අපි කරපු වැඩවල ප්‍රතිඵල දැන් තමයි ලැබෙන්නේ. ඒක හැමතැනම පේනවා. කම්පැනිලිය වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සෞඛ්‍ය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, අධ්‍යාපනය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මහා මාර්ග වෙන්න පුළුවන්, විදුලි බලය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මහනගර දියුණුව වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නුවර දියුණුව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා ඒ ප්‍රතිඵල එන අවස්ථාවේදී මම ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම කියන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් එක්සත් ජාතික පෙරමුණත් අපි ඇති කරන්න යන නව ජාතික ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සන්ධානයටත් එකතු වෙන්න අනේ වැඩ කටයුතු අපි ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න තියෙනවා.
Following the address, membership cards were presented to new recruits by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Several programs were also held in line with the main campaign in areas of Horana, Matugama, Beruwala and Kalutara with the participation of UNP representatives. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe participated in membership drives held in Horana and Matugama as well.
Hondai the business, huh? Like a pharmacy. The business කරනවා. මේ chocolate කන්න මිනිස්සු කොහොමද මෙයා ගන්නේ?
Meanwhile, a dispute took place between a UNP member of the Horana Pradeshya Sabha and a former UNP candidate of the Horana Pradeshya Sabha.
පිනට හම්බෙච්ච මන්ත්‍රීකමට කොට්ටාස දෙකක සෙලවද මේ ඉන්නේ. ප්‍රවර්තනය මේකද කියන්නකෝ.
The final leg of the one-day program was held at Kalutara town. General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party parliamentarian Dasiri Jayasekara insists that the SLFP and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna should contest together in order to win the presidential election. Contradicting this statement, however, parliamentarian Ranjit Sohisa today said that the presidential candidate should be appointed from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
අපේම පක්ෂේ මිනිස්සු පොදුජන පෙරමුණ කියලා එකක් හදාගෙන මෛත්‍රී ජනාධිපතිතුමාට විශාල ගෞරවයක් ආදරයක් මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ක්‍රමානුකූලව ගම ඇතුලේ හැදෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඒකතුමත් බොහොම හොඳට සූත්‍ර දන්න කෙනෙක්නේ. එන්න කියන්නකෝ ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂා කරනවත් බලා ගන්න ඉතුරු ටික. හැබැයි මතක තියාගන්න රජෝ ඔය කතා කරන කාටවත් අපි දෙකොල්ලෝ එකතු වුණේ නැත්තම් ජනාධිපතිවරණක් දිනන්න බෑ.
බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා කියනවා පොහොට්ටුවේ අපේක්ෂකෙක් එන ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණයේදී UNP විරෝධී කඳවුරේ ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂා විය යුතුයි කියලා. බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා ඒ මතය ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ ඡන්ද ලක්ෂ 50ක් ගත්ත වසරක් ඇතුළත මේ රටේ විප්ලවීය දේශපාලන සංවිධානයක් කරපු දැවැන්ත සංවිධාන ශක්තියක් ළඟ තියෙන නායකයෙක් හැටියට. වඩාත්ම සංවිධානාත්මක වඩාත්ම ශක්තිමත් දේශපාලන පක්ෂය ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පොහොට්ටුව ලකුණ කියන එක අපි පිළිගත යුතුයි. ජනාධිපතිවරණ අපේක්ෂා නියත වශයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණෙන් විය යුතු කියන ස්ථාවරය මාත්
Tanura Mudugit won the grand finale of Derana Dream Star Season 8 last evening. Krishadi Rantunga, Ravin Taruka and Tanura Mudugit battled it out for the coveted title, where the ultimate champion was decided through SMS votes of the viewers.
Derana Dream Star, Sri Lanka's biggest reality show, was held for the 8th consecutive year. The program provides a platform for young adults to pursue their dreams in the world of entertainment and singing. From tens of thousands of contestants, 48 were selected by an elite panel of judges, out of which 3 lucky participants were selected through SMS votes to compete for the title. The grand finale of Derana Dream Star was held at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo yesterday. Krishadi Ranatunga, Ravin Taruka and Tanura Madugit battled it out for the coveted title with some memorable performances.
She broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the
According to SMS votes by the viewers, Krishadi Ranatunga was placed the second runner-up. This left Ravin Taruka and Tanura Madugit to battle it out for the title. In a nail-biting finale, Tanura Madugit emerged victorious and was crowned Derana Dream Star with the highest number of votes. Raveen Tharuka was selected as the first runner-up.
Raveen Tharuka.
Madhugeet walked away with a house in Aturugiriya worth 15 million rupees and a cash prize of 1 million rupees, making it the highest value giveaway awarded in the history of Sri Lankan reality shows.
Now, the first phase of the Morning Sunrise, a program to provide insight and knowledge into the importance of sanitation workers and their impactful contribution in their job role creates in society, was held at Sri Jawadanapura Kotte Municipal Council this morning. It is another project by newspaper The Sunday Morning.
Sanitation workers play an integral role in society as the cleanliness of our towns and cities rests in their hands. Their job is unlike the ordinary, which requires them to start their day in the wee hours of the morning and extends into the evening. In recognition of the importance of their job role and the contribution they create in our society, a workshop was held at Sri Jawadanapura Kotte Municipal Council to find out issues by sanitation workers and also provide insight into their work. A program titled The Morning Sunrise was held with the participation of the Sunday Morning newspaper team together with the mayor of the Sri Jawadanapura Kotte Municipal Council. Sanitation workers present at the occasion were also taught modern practices when it comes to segregation of waste and other responsibilities. They were also taught as to how to maintain their cleanliness in a demanding job role and were presented a sanitary kit following the workshop.
ලාභ ලැබීමම පමණක් නෙවෙයි කළ යුතු වන්නේ මේ රටට ජීවය දෙන ඒ වෙනුවෙන් කඳුළු සලන මිනිසුන් වෙනුවෙන් යම්කිසි ගෞරවයක් ලබා දෙන්න කවුරු හරි උත්සාහ කරනවා නම් ඒක තමයි කරන උතුම්ම ගෞරවය.
The sixth batch of devotees who won the opportunity to participate in the Dambadiva Vandana religious pilgrimage organised by FM Derana and Derana Media Network paid homage at the site where Lord Buddha delivered the sermon on Satipatthana Sutta on the third day of the pilgrimage. Later, the devotees were taken to the Uttar province of India to reach the historical city of Varanasi, which is regarded as the spiritual capital of India by Buddhists across the world. The organizers facilitated devotees to worship the site of Isipatana, where Lord Buddha delivered his first sermon called the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, which explained the four noble truths to his first 5 disciples. We will join you with some business news right after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Other Derana 24.
Executive Director of Verite Research Nishal Dimel says that the government needs to step up efforts in managing debt in a sustainable manner. Speaking at a budget forum held in Colombo recently, he went on to say that country's GDP must grow at half the rate of depreciation just to sustain debt levels without letting it rise. The current debt to GDP ratio is 84%.
So the economic management is not simply achieved in one budget statement or a set of policies that are announced in a budget and left to automatically conduct itself over the rest of the year. It is achieved through the constant vigilance and constant action and constant calibration of economic policies by the government on a regular basis. We moved from concessional debt to commercial debt. And that move began around 2005. But by 2017, you can see that our commercial debt has risen to 54% of our total debt. How do you then manage this debt in a way that it doesn't become unmanageable? It is our ability to be smart and strategic. In fact, the focus of the problem is that not simply that Sri Lanka has a high level of debt to GDP, But that level of debt to GDP that we have is felt much more stringently because the cost of that debt is very high. But this is a problem now that Sri Lanka is having to face that has no easy solutions. It's a very fine-tuning challenge. It's a Keynesian challenge at the highest levels. So you found yourself moving from hurting the trade deficit or hurting the fiscal deficit and managing an unsustainable path to keeping growth going without doing the fundamental structural adjustments that were needed to make the economy more productive. But, so the question is, it's not good enough to stop doing something that doesn't work, which is pretty much what the government may have done post-2015. You've got to start doing the things that work. And that is what perhaps we have not seen enough of. If you want to maintain debt at a particular level, today it's 84% debt to GDP ratio, then currently your GDP must grow at half the rate of depreciation just to sustain your debt levels without letting them rise above the current levels. And the old methods of inflating away debt, doing unsustainable policies to sustain growth are not tenable right now. We are in a situation where the price of debt is high and we must change the rules and the way the government functions if the country is not going to get onto a path that 10 years later brings it to become an international case of a country in a debt problem.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Other Derana 24.
And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9. But before we leave you, we'd like to remind our viewers to stay tuned for Showbiz Tonight, hosted by Mahish Johnny, for you to get to know the latest in the world of entertainment. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.